Hi guys, welcome back to another daily tarot card. These are your daily tarot cards for Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. Today we're pulling from the Maccabee tarot cards. So we have the Massacre of Cups and the Devil in reverse, and they're saying that we're putting things to bed. So, especially with the 10 of daggers in reverse, I feel like, with three planets in fire, 6th, 7th, and 8th of August, it's this highly charged time where we feel excited. For example, like I had an appointment and I know that it's going to be a long day. Over a 12, I know 12 hours don't sound like much to people, but it's, it's at least, it's an 18-hour day today. You know what I mean? And plus then, you know what I mean? But it's just like, I was like, I need an espresso. And I kid you not, I went to the store and I saw in the fridge section vanilla latte espresso. So I bought it. Oh my God, it tastes like heaven. It sounds like I've already had one, but I haven't. I kid you not. So it's just like something like that makes you excited, right? If you watch Deborah Silverman, Astrology Answers, love, love, love her. Subscribe to her. She's on Instagram. She's on TikTok. She's on YouTube. Like, honest to God, she's phenomenal. And she'll teach you all these things. I post them in my stories on Instagram. And, she was talking about this, and it's like the shadow side of that. And this actually did come out in the full moon forecast and projections that for coming up this Friday? This Friday. And it's talking about how with the, we're painting ourselves into an emotional corner. So we're getting in our head too much. So as Deborah Silverman had articulated, when we have that much fire in the sky, we're always thinking of the negative things. We're always taking things to the extremes in the negative way. And it's like, well, why don't we start thinking about what about if it does work out in a positive way? How can we change things in a positive way? And that's why I always say happiness starts with ourselves. We can't wait until we look a certain way, or we lost so much weight, or we're making so much money, or we're this or this or this, we're with the love of our life, whatever it is. It's like, be happy in this moment. Be happy with what you have, where you are. It's just like, you're so obsessed about being happy in this other moment that you forget about what's in front of you. You forget about, look at everything that's before you right now. You don't appreciate the moment. And then as you get older, you're like, wow, I wish I would have been more present in that moment instead of worrying about this or, thinking about the future so much. It's like, I should have been more present. So starting off with the Massacre of Cups, emotional stability and balance. We definitely got that with the Libra scales. We were talking about this last week, and it's like bringing back in that balance. And it was funny because Justice, she's this from the what's it called? The Circle of Life Tarot. The Justice is like a mermaid. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ooh, emotional balance here. We always think of Justice as this, I guess because of the kind of deck that it is. But I found it funny. It's like emotional balance. You know what I mean? And it's like, even what Deborah Silverman said, like, we're highly charged, but she goes, the shadow side of that is we always think negative. And I was just like, wow, is it just me, or does it feel like it's already Mercury retrograde or a new moon? Like, why am I so negative? Like, what's going on here? Like, yeah, there's a heat wave, but like, come on. You know what I mean? It's just like, pull yourself out of it. We can't just negative, negative, negative. It's like, come on, just like enough already. The Massacre of Cups is the master of its emotions, allowing space for the entire spectrum without letting the feelings take over. And that's exactly it. Like, I felt, it's hot. Then I was cycling, so I'm overly hot because I run hot when that time of month comes. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, the last thing I want to do is, make myself even hotter by, putting this hot headset on. It's just like, you know what I mean? But it's just like, well, you can't live in that energy. It's like, you got to make the most of the situation. You know what I mean? So you got to sit there, do the best you can with the situation you have, and it's, this too shall pass. Allow yourself to feel everything that comes, but make sure your heart is not the only force at the helm. Taking things personally. Painting yourself in this emotional corner. They were showing the appreciation card. It's like she's appreciating the single bloom that she's holding in her hand instead of concentrating around the bramble bushes around her. Appreciate like being transparent here. Today is August 8th. It's Lionsgate. The portal is opening. What are we doing? We're setting manifestations. I always say, start off with being thankful. Sometimes I forget about the things that have come in my life. I'm like, did I already thank for that? I'm like, you know what? Let's just be safe. Let's thank for it again. You know what I mean? It's just like being grateful for the things we have manifested or the things I had asked in a reading, and it's just like, how is this going to turn out? And I pray, well, I'm transparent. I pray every night on my knees and I ask for certain situations and here they are. And it's like, okay, let's be grateful for that. Let's not forget about those blessings that already came to fruition. Certain things that really mean a lot to me, and I'm grateful for those. I think all the time when I get opportunities while I'm praying, and also when manifestation days. It's like we got to learn to be grateful for what we have. Yes, when certain situations come by, it's hard to pull yourself out of it, a broken heart, or you're like, oh, I really wanted something to work out and it didn't. You know what I mean? They were showing with, she had this teddy bear and she's hanging on to it. Maybe she's sentimental. Maybe that bear means a lot to her. But I think it's in the fact that it's like we think we want something. Maybe it's a relationship, a job, or XYZ. And God is like, or the universe is like, I got something better for you. You can't see it just yet, because there was Jesus and he had it behind his back. And, she couldn't see it. And it's like trusting that if it doesn't happen at that moment, they have something better. They're showing me one of my girlfriends that I just read for, and the same thing. She was getting frustrated in her situation, and I said, trust God's timing. And she's like, you're absolutely right. And boom, something better came along and she's living her best life. You know what I mean? Because she trusted. She's like, sometimes we just needed to hear that. It's like, we know it. Like half the time when we get a reading, it's like, I already knew this subconsciously that this is what you were going to say. But it's just like, it resonates different because you're saying it. Because it's not just myself. That's just my ego because people are like, oh, that's just your ego. You know what I mean? But it's not. You know what I mean? It's like that is your inner self telling you who you are. We forget how magical and powerful we are. Manifesting things, putting all that energy into things to make it happen. Think about when you want tickets to something or you want, maybe you want to ask someone out. How much effort and determination you put into that situation. You can have to put that same energy into yourself. You want to sit there and, maybe you want to, tighten up a little bit. So you start lifting weights. Well, sometimes you're tired. Okay, let's miss a night. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow night, or whatever the situation is. Don't be hard on yourself. Even if you missed 5 days in the heat wave. Who wants to work out in the heat wave if you don't have proper air conditioning or can go to a gym? It's like, oh, you do workout in that, you'll be on the floor, because you're already burning off enough sweating to try to cool off your body. You know what I mean? So it's just like stop being harsh with yourself and be your own best friend. Happiness starts within. So you got to be happy with, at this moment, be happy for that. You have lungs to breathe and 2 eyes to see and 2 ears to hear and, all your limbs. People would give, anything to have of what you have. And we just sit there and run ourselves down because that's all we heard all our life. We got to change that. When you're feeling attacked, don't reach out, don't react out of anger. Find the time to articulate your feelings before responding. I feel like I know someone that likes to pick. They want reactive energies. They want reactive emotions. They get some sort of satisfaction out of the way you react to certain things. And it's just like, I learned, just look out the window and ignore it. And I react when I get home, but I don't react in front of them. So the devil in reverse, where like they were saying, what they were showing, these channeled cards when they're saying all tied up from the energy oracle cards, and it's just like if you want to look that up, energy oracle cards, all tied up. They show this woman and she's got these ropes all around her and she doesn't know where to go. And it's like maybe you're going through something, a stuck situation, but it's like this is more on an emotional level. It's nighttime, so when we have darkness, we always go to the shadow side. You got to make, there's always light in the darkness. Even with the new moon, the stars are still shining. It's still there. It's just the light of the sun isn't reflecting on it. But you got to sit there and tell yourself, okay, is this emotionally I'm reaching out of this? Did I get enough sleep? They were showing, I think it was IG 8.5 hours. So I feel like you're tired. Like you need a good sleep. You need a break. So reverse, release, recovery. You're recovering from something that you were addicted to. You're recovering from something that was bringing you down, that was bringing that shadow side on. This is why they're saying putting it to bed. You know what I mean? I was trying to help someone, and my words, and in my situation, I was talking about this. Someone was telling me this for months. And it just took someone else to say, I don't know what it was. I have no idea. Nothing against them. Exactly what she said, they said. You know what I mean? And I don't know why, but, well, maybe I know why. But it's just like sometimes it doesn't resonate. But, in my situation, I was telling this person these things, but it helps when they hear from someone else. It just resonates with them. It's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Oh, maybe, with myself, oh, because you're supposed to, say those things because you're my friend, you're my sister, you're my daughter, you're my mother, you know what I mean? Whatever part I play in someone's life, you're just saying those things. I've got that my whole life. I would give people compliments and they're like, oh, you're full of poop. And I'm like, you're supposed to say thank you. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. So I stopped giving compliments. And anytime someone says that, they're like, wow. And I'm like, what? And they're just like, that's a BS comment. I'm like, it's not. If I didn't think it looked nice or if I didn't think you looked beautiful or handsome or whatever it was, I wouldn't say anything. So the double represents the chains that wrap around your throat and drag you down into the darkness. It's the painful torment cycle you can't break out of, whether it be toxic relationships, binging, or addiction. The devil is the true evil that lives inside, and it's time to break the chains that aim to destroy you. We destroy ourselves. We sit there, I kid you not, tribal trails, 7 deadly sins that we commit on ourselves is the insecurities of others that they sit there and vomit on us, and we absorb it as fact. And it's not fact at all. This is not an ego trip. This is being factual. A lot of people make comments out of their insecurities. Nasty comments. And it's just like, you know what? Let them, have their moment. Let them say what they're going to say. Yeah, I remember someone said something to me and I'm just like, ew. Like, really? Like, why are you so disgusting? Like, why do you have to say such nasty things? But that's them. That's their insecurity. So that's what you got to say, controlling your emotions, not reacting to it or coming back like, what the heck is your problem? Like, why you do really need to say that? Standing up for yourself. I just watched a guy on TikTok, sitting there and grounding yourself doesn't always have to be meditation. It doesn't have to be chakra clearing. It doesn't have to be saging and lighting incense. Maybe it's just telling someone to go F themselves and putting them in their place. So partnership, love. So we've been getting a lot of 2 cups, but partnership is strong here. Gemini, right? Gemini, twins. Sisters, maybe. Truly balanced couple lean in their partnership. Happiness is at its peak when you find genuine love. The best relationships are born from a strong partnership where both voices are heard and respected, and each member is allowed to take up space. Yes, when you are seen, when you are heard, when you are appreciated, that's what makes the strongest relationships. It is not kissing their butt. It is saying, dang, I see you. I see what you did. Thank you so much. And I know how tired you must be. You know what I mean? Man or woman, it doesn't matter. If you have someone in your life, they're exhausted and they sat there and they still made you a home cooked meal. Go do the dishes. You go relax, go put your feet up. You cook this meal. I could see you're tired. Maybe pour them a glass of wine is what they're showing. Give them the remote. Let them watch TV and you take care of the dishes. Take out the garbage, clean up the kitchen for them so they don't have to do it. They worked a 9 to 5. They're doing everything. Like, you know what I mean? So let them put their feet up for, you got to put up your feet up while they were cooking dinner and the kids were doing homework. They're showing an island. So the kids were doing the homework at the island. And it's like, you got to woo-sow. So now give them their turn to woo-sow. Kids are, put the kids down. Be a partnership. Don't run each other down. How disgusting is it? What is the point of being in a relationship if you're toxic? If you're always running each other down? That's where the shadows build upon. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't want to be I love my peace. I don't want to be around people that sit there and run each other down. And it's like, oh, we're joking. I'm like, are you really though? Are you really? Like, you don't have to talk so, I don't like venomous words. So Three of Bones, this is the Three of Wands, and I feel like the universe is supporting you. I feel like you're a strong, independent person. Some of the, people, it's like, looking out on the future. That's exactly what we're doing, Lion Gates Portal, where we're manifesting. But I also feel like it's like, you're destined for greatness. And I was saying this, like, some people will poo-poo on our party. And it's like, you know what? As long as you're not hurting anyone, you know what I mean? Definitely reach for the stars. Even Deborah Silverman said that. Dare to be great. Dare to live a life of certain things. It may happen, it may not. Who knows? But you know what? Enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? That's why I put my vision board out. That's why I always mention, oh my gosh, I always forget her freaking name. I could see her. Ugh. Uh, Kim from Atlanta Housewives. She don't be tardy. She sat there, and I always mention this. She put, and that really resonated with me. She's like, I put something on my board for 7 years, and finally the Italian trip came around for a business part, and I extended the trip, and we made it a family trip, and she you know what I mean. And it may not happen in the time that you think you put it on the board and it's going to happen. My son said that he wanted a sweet, fluffy white dog. He was really small when he said this, because all of this happened when they were young. So I said, okay, when the time is right, it'll happen. So I definitely tried to make that happen, and it wasn't the time. And it happened. You know what I mean? And it's something that we had put on our vision board. Like, I use my board as a family board, for not just for myself, but for the family. You know what I mean? They always say, like, one person in your family that is that kind of person brings up and protects the whole family. They're worth more than gems and gold and silver, So it's just like, you know what I mean? That's not an ego trip on myself, but it's just like, I encourage my kids to be that way. It's just like, let's, do it as a family, not just for ourselves. We're raising all up together. One succeeds, we all succeed. We're all going to raise you up on our shoulders and celebrate you. So, growth, expansion. Growth is imminent. You are a monster going into all directions at all times. It's kind of like dragonflies. They can see in all directions. You made the right plans and are ready to conquer your enemies or goals. Prepare yourself for unexpected growth and opportunities, as you shouldn't hold back when something new presents itself. So they're saying gifts. And I'm seeing the X, which is the Vikings rune for gifts with no harm to none. This is definitely a card about, your ship is about to come in. You know what I mean? So it's just like, remember what they said, though. Sit there and save that money, because something's coming here. I think it's a lockdown. So 10 of Daggers, I think it's to push the new jab for the kids. So 10 of Daggers in reverse. So rock bottom. Your pain and suffering have reached their end. You may have come out victorious. You may not have come out victorious, but at least you have released, and there is no more battles to conquer. Your weary bones can finally rest and be reclaimed by the earth. I feel like, definitely with the earth. Is it the Earth Tarot? Circle of Life. Is it Circle of Life Tarot? They had the Magician and that crimson red robe, and I felt grounding energy. You know what I mean? And I feel like, we've been on this hamster wheel, and we're running and running and running. And it's like, finally we see some progress. We see some change. We see some hope. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just like, now you can rest. Now it won't overtake your dreams, because it's definitely taken over my dreams. My prayers, my dreams, my manifestations, my conversations with God, everything. So it's just like, I feel like it's like, now you can rest and rejuvenate. They were talking about that. A time of rest and rejuvenation was coming, So, keep pushing forward, keep being strong, keep being a warrior. Recognize who you are and how powerful you are. This is not to oppress people. This is to lift you up and carry you forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. May the universe bless you good. Happy Lionsgate. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card.